Welcome to Strength for the Journey. This is your host, Trish, here to encourage you in your life, your walk, and your journey. God designed a map uniquely for you, and He has a plan for you every day to follow. More good news? You never walk alone. God is right there with you. Hi again, this is Trish. So glad you joined me today. I have a very interesting topic to talk about today because it is that time of year that is resolution time. So I looked up the definition of resolution, and it said it is a firm decision to do or not to do something, or the quality of being determined or resolute. So you have made a decision. You're going to have a new resolution for the year. You're going to make some changes and do something better. One of the top ones that is the resolution is getting healthier. People want to get healthier because they've gone through all of that Christmas junk that they've been eating, and now it's time to get disciplined. So, did you know that a well-disciplined life, if you're a Christian, a well-disciplined life honors God? And I looked up the story of Daniel. Daniel and his friends were living in captivity, and King Nebuchadnezzar was over them. He was the ruler, so they had to do everything that they were told to do. They were living in another culture that they weren't used to, and King Nebuchadnezzar brought Daniel and several young men to him, and the king assigned them daily provisions from the royal food. So even though Daniel had his own food that he ate, they were wanting him to eat the royal food and the wine that he drank, and Daniel determined that he would not defile himself with the king's food. He was resolute. In other words, he made a resolution that he would do what God wanted him to do. This is you can look at this story, Daniel 1, chapter 5. So, Daniel requested that he eat certain foods that he was allowed to eat in his culture and that God wanted him to eat. Daniel requested and examined the appearance of the young men who were eating the king's food and dealing with your servants based on what you see. He agreed with them in this matter and tested them for 10 days. The king decided to test them and see what they were eating. At the end of 10 days, they looked better and they looked healthier than all the other young men who were eating the king's food. So the guard continued to remove their food and the wine, and they were to drink and gave them vegetables. God gave these 4 young men knowledge to follow His will, His understanding in every kind of literature and wisdom. And Daniel also understood visions and dreams of every kind. We can see that in verse 15 through 17 in chapter 1. Daniel showed wisdom and his resolution and his stick-to-itiveness by not overindulging on the king's rich foods. And he and these other young men demonstrated that by placing the correct emphasis on food as a tool to nourish our physical bodies instead of yielding to our lust of food, we're healthier and better able to follow God's will. So sometimes we don't think about following God's will in the food that we eat. But we see that there is an epidemic in our country of folks with their BMI being too high, and they need to get that down, and which causes many health problems, which I myself is one that is struggling with some of this. But changing our eating habits and exercise habits isn't easy, but with God's help, it can be done. It is 1 John. Chapter 5, 14 through 15 says, "Now this is the confidence we have before Him. Whenever we ask anything according to His will, He hears us. And we know that He hears whatever we ask. We know that we have what we have asked Him for." So if we really seek the Lord and want to honor Him, this is an area of a disciplined life. There's many things a disciplined life entails, and one of those is what we eat, what we drink, just spending time with God and having our quiet time and praying with Him so that He can give us the strength to follow His call. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk again next time about God helping us to have a well-disciplined life. On Journey with You, this is Trish.